Hi, my name is Benjamin. I'm 9 years sober. I continue every day to look to help others, to give back to those who have helped me, and to the community that's given me everything back into my life.
I'm Heather Champion. I'm a licensed mental health counselor with a private practice. I met Ben while working at an outpatient treatment center called The Retreat that's not here anymore. We've maintained our friendship since then and enjoy taking time to talk about therapy and our lives as champions.
Disclaimer: the content of this video is intended for informational use only. It is in no way intended as a replacement for medical or psychological advice. Should you have a medical or psychological issue, please consult with a medical professional. Hey everybody, it is the Real Champions podcast. I am Heather Champion.
I am Benjamin Champion.
And today, Ben was asking me just a minute ago a question about why it's hard for him to get up early and go to the gym.
Yes. So
What?
recently,
Okay.
my best friend Justin and I have, I would say, for the last 3 months, been making plans to wake up around 6:30, 6:40 before work and work out or be more productive. This morning, we both caught up and made plans for this week to do these things, but we both kind of came to the realization of why. Why are we waking up at 6:30? What effect will this have that I can see tomorrow? And I think what we're coming to find out is it's not about the effect that you're going to see tomorrow. It's about, I guess, discipline, routine and structure.
Hmm.
But there's some type of, I know for myself, a mental block of I deserve to sleep in.
Mhm.
I'm
So
very stuck on that.
it makes sense when you're making the plan, but when that alarm goes off, it's like, screw it. I'm not doing that. I want to stay in bed, right? And I
Yeah.
think that, like as someone who gets up at 5 every morning, as on work day, I get up at 5 every day. But yeah, because once you start, I have three dogs and three cats and two dogs. And once you start that with the
Mm.
animals, they expect you, and it's been years now. So it's just like I am up at 5 regardless. Doesn't matter what time I go to bed, I'm still up at 5. If not, then a kitty cat will start nibbling on my toes. I'll start hearing some dogs rustling around and chewing on themselves, and Sammy, like with her arthritis, it's like the whole bed shakes if she starts
Oh.
to move. So, because she vibrates, because the arthritis makes her vibrate. So, yeah, it's just, I get up at 5. But getting into that routine is pretty hard, right? If you're not used to it, especially if like you normally wake up like 11 on the weekends, right? And then it's like, well, I want to get up 6 hours before that on my weekdays. Number one, it's not an achievable goal. If I wake up at like 11 on Saturday when I don't have to work, to think that I'm going to get up at 5 or 6 is not an achievable goal.
Mhm.
What time is easy to get up on a weekday?
Weekday usually for me is 7. Should be 6:50, but ends up being 7 because I hit the alarm. I deserve it.
Okay. So you know what we have to do? We have to make small incremental changes in order to get yourself into that habit of getting up that extra half hour earlier. You're already struggling to get up the time that you said you want to be up, 6:50, but you actually end up getting out of bed at 7.
Yep.
So why is that? I deserve to be in bed. Why do you deserve to be in bed that extra 10 minutes?
I think self-consciously, one, I enjoy the time with my dog. So self-consciously, I write it off as, well, that's 10 minutes I don't get back with them. If I stay in bed with them now, I will always have that 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Reality is, I think it comes back to when I was 18, the moment I graduated high school, that Saturday, or that Monday, I was up in a chicken factory. By 4:30 in the morning, I was in a car for an hour drive to the factory.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for myself, it's an excuse. I've already done the hard stuff. now that I'm 34, getting to go to work at 9, that is my reward for working so hard when I was 18.
Hmm.
When reality is, no, my reward has to be for now. What does Ben want 34 and on? And
Mhm.
I think I just had a recent difficulty switching that. And what is my purpose of waking up that early, right? Is Heather gonna next week say, "Oh, Ben, 6:30 has looked really good on you. You're looking healthier and better." Because I'm also somebody that needs to see the physical impact of what I'm changing.
Mhm.
But then again, I think it's the reality of looking back at myself in the mirror and saying, "Well, no, you made a lot of changes recently that you're okay with, that you
So
see within yourself."
what's the benefit to staying in bed that extra 10 minutes in the morning with the dogs?
There absolutely is none.
Okay.
Realistically, there is none. That's the
So let's
frustrating
not
part.
think with your logical brain, let's think with your emotional brain. Emotionally, what is happening in that 10 minutes when you're there with the dogs?
I guess I know I can be at peace with them, and
And
it's the moments before the chaos of life begins.
you're kind of hiding from what's out there,
Yeah,
right?
I guess in
So
a sense,
there's a
responsibilities.
it's a place where I feel really secure in bed. Like I got my dogs and my cat and one of my cats, at least one of my cats, of the three. The two males sleep in the bed with me. The younger of the males, if he catches my toe going by his face, he's with his with his claws, it's like for the middle of the night. Because he's just about a year old, so he thinks that, his face, it's playtime. Um, but yeah, there's that feeling of connection that we get from snuggling up with our loved ones, whether they be furry or non-furry, right? Snuggling, there's a feeling of connection. There's a feeling that I'm in a safe place of vulnerability. If I get out of that bed, where does that safe place of vulnerability go?
That peace, that 10 minutes of peace.
I,
When reality is, I'll find it in 5 seconds when I walk outside with them.
well, here's the thing, like especially if you're waking up early to go to the gym, you are going to a place where you may or may not feel secure.
So in my case, I mean, I'm just going downstairs to work out,
Okay.
but I think it comes back to what you said, that security of the bed, that security. But the strange thing with that is the bed's the last place I want to be. I go to bed late. Like even when I take naps on weekends, never in the bed. It's on the couch with the dogs. So it's not the bed that has a physical security. I guess it's the calm
Hmm.
security.
Well, I mean, like, why are you up late? Are you up late because you're just playing video games?
Well, I'm working on that. I went to bed last night at 10 and today feels great. So another one of the things I want, and I think that might deal with it too, is I think I've also got ingrained, and I think this may just come from recovery, being ingrained so hard in 8 hours sleep, 8 hours sleep. I think my brain's still engaged with, if I don't get 8 hours, then I feel tired.
Mhm.
When reality is I can work whenever. I mean, you've been around me. I will work whenever, however.
Mhm.
No, I guess a lot, and I think a lot of it's just I fear, God forbid I do these changes. God forbid I make all these changes and the next week it's not perfect, then why did I make all these changes? So I
Mhm.
guess it's the fear of the unknown, even though the clear benefit is, Ben, everyone knows you'll be healthier just by waking up a half an hour. It's science.
Yeah, but that's the logical part of your brain talking, not the emotional.
I think the emotional is I'm just stuck on, will that benefit be something that will get me more money tomorrow at my job? Will that benefit be something that will forever change my life? And yeah, you're right. That is the emotional child version of me, I
Right. But
think.
the thing is that, like, your emotional part of your brain is not thinking that way at all. It's thinking, I want to stay in this warm, kind of safe place. I want to feel good. And getting out of this bed is not going to feel good, and not going to get out of this bed unless I absolutely have to, because it doesn't feel good.
I think I just connected it all.
What's that?
So for those watching this, one thing that I really do when I do therapy, like when Heather's speaking, or just these little things, is I really try to tie it back to why am I really not, afraid of getting up? And I think maybe self-consciously, it may come from when I was younger. My brother, whenever he woke up, there would always be a tantrum in the morning.
Hmm.
Thus, I think my deep inside of my body still holds that tension of, even though I know my house is quiet in the morning, it's just my dogs and I, and Alicia gets ready in her room and whatnot. I think it's maybe my own built-in PTSD to some degree of I expect before a certain time on the clock for there to be chaos. Because between 6 and 7, waking up as a child was always a very difficult time. My brother getting up, having a morning tantrum on clockwork.
Hmm.
I
They
think my
could
brain still holds something.
they could have something to do with it. But we also have to look at like what's preventing you from going to bed at a decent time the night before. Because yeah, 8 hours is the best thing for us. So why are we having trouble getting to bed by 10 o'clock at night if I want to get up at 6 in the morning?
I think for most of us overthinkers, my mind's finally quiet at night.
Is it?
I don't have to.
Is it quiet? Like, you tell me. Like, what can I do, right, to help me? Because the thing is that my body will naturally, after 7.5, 8 hours, for me, sometimes even six, my body will wake up and I'm awake. Like, I'm just awake. A cup of coffee is going to help me feel a million times better. But yeah, I'm awake. And there's no point in laying there anymore. And that's one of the things that like I have, because I know like I could stay in bed on a Saturday later, or on a Sunday later than 5 a.m., but I'll be laying there and just thinking about stuff. So what's the point? May as well just get up, because I know the kittens are gonna come in the room, because they're gonna sense that I'm awake, right? And they're going, meow, meow, and then they're gonna start climbing the curtains or doing something, right? And then the dogs, like I said, are gonna like start to notice I'm awake. They're gonna start to move. They're gonna start to get really annoying. What's the point? The other morning, this happens a lot to me when I'm excited about working on a little project at home. The other morning, I woke up at 4. I couldn't pull back. I went to bed early. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock. I was exhausted. And I woke up at like 4. And I was like, well, if I get up and pee and come back to bed, sometimes that helps me fall back asleep. Nope. And then I'm laying there in bed and I'm trying to get comfortable, which is also a little bit hard, especially like when you have arthritis, like I do, and you're getting older and the dogs have like settled into their spots. So you're trying to like get around them, like, and you can't really get comfortable. Such a pain in the butt. But in any event, like I'm trying to get comfortable and I'm like, well, I'm kind of comfortable. But then I just started thinking and I started reviewing everything that I had to do that day. And I'm like, there's no point in laying here and dwelling on the things that I want to get done. It's going to be a really hot day. So the things I want to get done, some of them are outdoors. Let me get up now, get moving so that I can try to get them done before it gets to be too hot. And that's my motivation. Like, I'm gonna start getting things done before I get too hot. Um, so I just rolled myself out of bed, and I was like, all right. And then so Miss Sammy, like, she has a little bit of puppy dementia going on, and when I wake her up too early, she's
Oh.
like, what? Why are we up? It's like it's not time yet.
Oh.
But in any event, like, there's some of the things that we kind of have to think about, like when we have to think about like what are my roadblocks? How do I put them up? Right? We have to be able to predict what's happening or what I think is going to happen. When I'm trying to change a pattern in my life and trying to start to restart, better habits, because like in the past I was at the gym, 5, 6 days a week, 6 a.m. like clockwork, every day. These days, yeah, it's a little harder for me to get myself out the door. I'll get up, but getting out the door is a little bit harder because I just like, oh, I don't want to put my gym clothes on and oh, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. So before I go to bed every morning, sitting there lined up is when I go into the bathroom to put on my pajamas, I put my pajamas, I put the gym clothes I'm wearing the next day, and the outfit I'm wearing the next day to work. That way, there's no excuses, right? It's right there. I roll out of bed. Like, so when I go into the bathroom to change, my pajamas are first. I put the pajamas on, dirty clothes in the hamper. That's that. The next thing that's sitting next to in the bathroom is the clothes I'm wearing to the gym. So I roll out of bed, I walk into the bathroom. Well, there's my gym clothes sitting right there. Why not just put them on?
Mhm.
It might like I might be like, blinking the sleep out of my eyes as I'm doing it, and little kittens going meow, meow as I'm doing it, right? Like looking for attention. But I'm still like, all right, let me get, one leg into these hands. All right, let me get the other leg in type of a thing. Um, but I know what like
Don't leave.
right. I know what the roadblock would be. If I
Mhm.
wake up and those clothes are not sitting in the bathroom, now I'm like, oh, I'm really going across the room to get my gym clothes. Uh,
Build an excuse.
I don't feel like doing that today. And that ends up becoming my excuse.
Okay. So I need to start sending socks and shoes out. And maybe I just thought this as you were saying that maybe if the workout's scaring me, because I'm also a very time routine person, I think that also just enough, even though I'm always late to work by 10 minutes anyway, I think that's enough that's making my mind, well, you're not going to work this out. But one thing I did think about while you were saying that is I know it takes me about 30 minutes to walk a mile that I can time out. I leave my house, go for my walk. I'll be back by 6:50, 6:55 at the latest. So I think that's what I'm going to start doing. Do my walks in the morning, get my body moving.
Mhm.
Okay. Maybe. I think it comes down to maybe I just don't want to do the workout. Not that I don't want to get up. Maybe I'm not driven to do the actual workout.
And that
But
might
if I
be
can get my body moving, that's a victory.
right. And so like throughout, like I have some health issues that are tied to metabolic problems. So there I know that the the symptoms are the same, whether I'm feeling kind of down or if I need rest time. Like if I'm overly stressed out and I need to just like take it down a notch. So I have little things that I do every day to check in on that. One of those things is taking the dogs for the walk, right? Every day I take my dogs for a mile long walk. It takes us a lot longer than a half an hour because my dogs have to sniff everything that
Yep.
is. But in any event, when I get home from that walk, if I'm not feeling great, I will go and allow myself to lay down because I know that like that's my hormone imbalance and I'm stressed out. I need to go rest so that I don't get my but other times that walk invigorates me. I get home from the walk and I am raring to go. I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do next? Like, let me go wash the dishes in the sink. Let me go get outside and start weeding that flower bed. Let me go, and then I'm like, and I start going and going and going and going, like the energizer buddy, right? So it's like I'm either go, 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 or no, I need to lie down now. Now I need to take a rest, right? And so I listen to my body, I really do, because I have to use some of these like little litmus tests, like washing the dishes in the sink is another one. Like, let me go clean up the sink. Once that's done, if I feel better, then I will start. If it's just that I'm feeling kind of down and glum, well, cleaning up the sink is going to make me feel better. But if my hormones are imbalanced and I'm having high stress, it's not going to help because I need to rest. I need to sleep. That's when I need to just get extra rest. And I know that.
Mm.
I know that about myself. If I don't do these things, then I'll end up getting really sick. That's when I get those really nasty infections and Takes 2 weeks to recover.
Yeah. Well, we got some things to work on this week. I'm excited
Yeah.
to
So you got
work
to
on my
work
walk tomorrow.
on both aspects. Getting to bed at a decent time so your body naturally will wake up. And if you're awake, getting out of bed. Not just sitting there.
Goals this week.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, everybody. I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again next time.
Adios.
Real Champions Podcast, Season 2, Episode 10, Making Changes. What does it mean to be a champion when that's your name? The Real Champions Podcast is co-hosted by Heather Champion and Benjamin Champion. It's edited by Heather Champion. Produced by Maitri Counseling Services, all rights reserved. Questions or comments can be referred to Heather at Maitri Therapy, MAITRI-therapy.com.
You are not alone. Remember, if you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, please call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. For local help, dial 211 on your phone to be connected to resources in your area. If you experience mental health or substance abuse issues, please call the National Alliance or Mental Health or NAMNI at 1-800-950-NAMNI. Or in a crisis, text NAMI, NAMI, to 741-741. Check out the NAMI website, nami.org, for additional resources.